Celebrating 30 years of phenomenal trend forecasting, 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. Here's Gerald Celente with today's trends in the news.
Hi, this is Gerald Celente. It's Wednesday, September 26th, 2018. And here are some of today's trends in the news. On the market front over there in Asia, looking good. Everybody's up. And even Hang Seng, it's hanging much higher. Over there in Europe, everybody's up here a little bit. But in the States, it's down day. Not big, but down. Oil down a bit, gold down. Bitcoin, boop, up a bit. What happened? You know what happened. Dow drops 106 points, giving up earlier gains as comments from Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell following a monetary policy announcement sent interest rates lower and bank stocks along with them. I don't know how that happened because interest rates went up. That's right. They raised them 25 basis points. But what they're saying is that inflation is not going to go up too much. And you know why? The reason why is that no one else is talking about other than us. The 5-0 formula. That's right. It's in your TrendsJournal. Look it up. Here it is. That's why you don't see interest rates going up. And there's no really new news about this. It looks like the same aggressive policy is going to continue. That's what's bringing stocks down because you know where the interest rates are now? At April 2008 level. That's right. In all this time, all of these interest rate hikes, and that's where they are. The Fed fund overnight rate between 2 and 2.5. Nothing. So that means they don't have a lot of room to go down too much when things go down. But what are the implications? Well, here's a story. What may soon exceed the cost of U.S. military? Interest on U.S. debt. So now you got to pay more interest as your debt burden builds. And not only for governments. Mortgages go up. Interest rates on cars go up. Credit cards, interest rates go up. And what happens to those currencies around the world? As the dollar gets stronger, they go lower. What does it all mean? It's in your trend alert. Your trend alert. Avoid media false flags. These warning signs are flashing market crash. Well, you're going to read in your trend alert today, again, no one else is talking about it. Hey, how come they didn't say the markets went down today? Because it doesn't look like that Supreme Court judge is going to become a Supreme Court judge, the Supreme jerk. Yeah, and these stories coming out. Disgusting. Disgusting. Anyway, gold. Well, what a surprise. Gold prices went down. And they're going to be under pressure as interest rates keep going higher and the dollar keeps getting stronger. Having said that, we still believe gold is near its bottom range. And oil. Oil went down a bit because stockpiles went up a bit. U.S. crude inventories rose by 1.6 million barrels in the week of September 21st. And so you're getting more supply, but the big news, of course, is yesterday Trump at the United Nations and all this talk about sanctions on Iran. Some countries say they're going to keep buying. Big buyers like India say they're not going to. And we heard from the United States Special Envoy to Iran, Brian Jerk. Quote, "We will ensure prior to the reimposition of our sanctions," meaning in Iran, that we have well-supplied oil markets. You know what that is.
Warning, warning, bullshit alert.
So, the range we've been saying now for a long time, 70 to 80, that's what we see. Unless violence breaks out in the Middle East. And Trump, of course, to keep Hook's statement true, said yesterday, rip off OPEC price strokes Trump anger. Quote, Donald Trump took aim at the U.S. oil-producing allies in the Middle East during his address to the United Nations General Assembly yesterday, saying they were, quote, ripping off the rest of the world. Yeah, not like those drug companies rip us off. No, not like those insurance companies rip us off. No, not like these morons that run a city, a state near you that rip you off with all these taxes, school taxes, jerk-off taxes, yeah. Nah, that's not a rip-off. And how about the Democratic and Republican Party rip-off with all the money that they steal from us in federal taxes so their scum-loyal followers could have do-nothing jobs and retire with nice pensions and benefits. Rip-off? It's one big rip-off. It's Slavelandia. And speaking of Trump and Iran and oil, at yesterday's address, he said that Iran sows chaos, death, and destruction. They do not represent their neighbors or borders or sovereign rights of nations. Instead, Iran leaders plunder the nation's resources to enrich themselves and spread mayhem across the Middle East. Yeah. How about taking Iran out, and put the United States into that? For all the illegal wars started by the United States, the millions that they've killed, the arming of all these Islamic militants for regime change, like in Libya. Oh, what was it yesterday when I reported? UN said over 500,000 children in Tripoli are facing starvation and perilous future because of the piece of crap prize winner Obama's Libyan war. Yep. And then, of course, Trump also said the Iranian people are rightly outraged that their leaders have embezzled billions of dollars from Iran's treasury. How about trillions of dollars stolen from us by the banksters that you guys gave all the money to? Oh, that's different. Slavelandia, where 95% of the wealth went to the 1% since the Panic of '08. Oh, that's different. Those Iranians, I tell you, they're really terrible. Wealth of top 1% surpasses $100 trillion, more than global GDP and all central bank balance sheets. Talking about Iran. Look in the mirror, Trump. It's America. Bolton warns of terrible consequences if nations defy Iran's sanctions. I'm reading this and talking about this because it's in your trend alert. Higher interest rates, rising oil prices, those are the warning flags to watch. Not Kavanaugh, Rothstein, Reinstein, Iceberg, Greenberg, whatever his name is, tariffs or trade. These are the issues. Quote, we do not intend to allow our sanctions to be invaded by Europe or anybody else. John out of his mind Bolton said in a speech on Tuesday, he promised terrible consequences for anyone who continues to do business with Iran after November 4th. Terrible consequences. It's economic warfare. And moving on. Argentina crisis deepens as bank chief quits after 3 months in post. Again, they got a 60% interest rate. The peso's down 50% against the dollar this year. The IMF has given them $50 billion. Well, that was yesterday. Today it's up to $57 billion in bailout. And austerity measures. Isn't that a wonderful word for screwing you, the people, stealing your money, raising your taxes, cutting out your pensions and benefits, and raising your retirement age till after you die so you could bail out the scum banksters. That's all this is about, man. Oh, and this guy, remember how the media pumped up Macri? Oh, the brilliant businessman. He's going to change things in Argentina. What a bunch of BS. So, here we go. Mr. Caputo, this is the guy that quit, Caputo, a former broker who was well liked by investors, by gamblers, will be replaced by Guido Sandelius, an economist, you ready? Who had previously worked at the Minneapolis Federal Reserve, Chile's central bank, and the IMF, the International Mafia Federation. Nothing has changed since Christ chased out those money changers with a whip. Federal Reserve, IMF, Chile Central Bank, Argentina. It's the banksters club. Oh, I get these people say, oh, you should lower your voice and not be angry. Hey, Gcelente, if Jesus Christ, the Prince of Peace, could become violent and pick up a whip to drive these bastards to where they should go, I could get angry about it. And if you don't have the courage to speak out and do something about it, hey, do what Kavanaugh did and all his friends in high school, because you don't have what it takes to do it the right way. Lawmakers make deals to avoid shutdown. House passes spending bill to avoid government shutdown as long as Trump agrees. Lawmakers. How about a bunch of low-life jerks? Lawmakers. These are the imbeciles that run and ruin your life. People call a little clown like Eddie Munster, Paulie Ryan over here, a lawmaker, jerk off. Oh, can't use bad language, but why should I use bad language when? Report, Yemen civilian deaths skyrocketing, increased 164% since June. In a 9-day period, over 500 killed. Lower your voice. We don't like it when you talk like that. We got murder to commit and not talk about it at all. Don't you raise your voice. Be a good boy. Yeah. UN alarm by spike in Afghan civilian casualties in U.S. airstrikes. Nearly 3,000 strikes in the first 6 months of the year. Murder Incorporated. The banksters are robbing us blind. It's a global takeover of the multinationals. And where's the outrage? Where are the protests? Well, they're happening in other countries, but not in the United States. In 2000, an average 8.5% of the vote went to populist parties. In other countries, that total is now over 24%. Yeah. UN, 1,700 Libyan families displaced by fighting in last 48 hours. Oh, Libya? I love Obama. I hate Trump. I love Obama. I love what he did in Libya, how he destroyed the richest country. in Africa. I love what he did to Syria. Assad has to go. All these little boys, the Boltons, the Pompeos, the Trumps, all shooting off their mouths, the Obamas, on who has to go. And these guys couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag. I bet Trump can't run up those stairs, probably even the helicopter, let alone his Air Force One, without dropping dead with all that extra weight he got on him. But they'll send somebody else's kid to fight and BS the people to join the war. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's trends in the news.